Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Melanie Dean. I'm a psychologist, a scientist, and a Hay House author of the book, The Hidden Power of Emotions. And you're listening to the Wave Maker podcast, where we explore how your emotions are real energy waves that are more powerful than you think. And so are you. When you learn how to tap the power of your emotions, you can attract everything in life that you want. It's not just positive thinking, it's science, and I will show you how. Hello. Today, let's talk about how to zap negative beliefs that work against you. I imagine you, like everybody else, like me, like everyone in the world, have had times when things didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out. And in addition to having the feelings that would be normal to have with that, which is your sadness, your disappointment that things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, you probably also have battling with negative beliefs that go along with that. So instead of just being able to smoothly and easily move through your emotions of sadness and grief and disappointment that things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, you on top of that may have negative beliefs that are really just feeling entrenched. Like maybe you have a belief that you don't deserve for things to work out. Or maybe you have a belief that you're just a mess up, you don't do things right, that nothing ever works out for you. Maybe you have a belief that you're not smart enough. So those kinds of beliefs tend to get triggered and kick in when things don't work out in life the way we want them to. Well, you can zap those negative beliefs with the laser power of your emotions. So I'm going to explain that laser power thing in a minute, but your emotions have the power to get you through those negative beliefs, to zap those negative beliefs and get you to a place where you can really know what it is you want, focus on it, and have that energy waves go to work for you to connect you with that which you want. So your emotional power to laser focus on what you want, to zap the negative beliefs, is very strong. So let's look at how that works. Laser power of your emotions is real. So have you ever seen a laser light that points at a screen? Perhaps you've been to a presentation and somebody shines a red light on the screen in front of you. And so that laser light is the same light that's in, say, a flashlight or the lamp in your living room. The difference is that the lamp in your living room or the flashlight has its light waves being sent out in multiple directions. So it is casting quite an array of light. A laser light, on the other hand, has waves of light that are getting in sync with one another. And so they all are moving together with the highs and lows of the wave at the same time, which allows that laser light to be very pinpoint focused, to be very powerful, and can shine a much further distance than your flashlight or the lamp in your living room. Well, the power of your emotions works very similarly. If you've listened to some of my previous podcasts, you know that your emotions are real energy. They are made out of energy elements like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. When you have an emotion, your body creates a molecule made out of those energy elements. And those energy elements all have waves of energy. Now, they become powerful and can work for you when your emotions and clarity for that which you want is very synced up, and you stay with that emotion long enough that multiple waves can get in sync like a laser. So you have to be present enough with that which you really want in order to have calm, evenly spaced waves of energy, multiple waves of energy happening at the same time. And they can then, instead of being diffuse with different kinds of emotions happening out there, the similar same emotion of clarity for that which you want can get in sync with one another. Those emotions, the energy waves of those emotions, when they get in sync with one another, they are more powerful than emotions that are not in sync So for example, when your emotions are synced up, they vibrate 10 times higher than emotions that are chaotic and unpredictable and maybe frustrated or angry. So they vibrate at 0.05 decibel per hertz. And the non-synced up emotions of frustration or anger, just not knowing what you want, they vibrate 0.005 decibels per hertz. So 1/10 less frequency. They also, when they're synced up, they can be measured. Another measurement for the power of your emotions can be measured in millivolts. And so they are 3 times more powerful when they are in sync, like a laser. They can be measured at 0.27 millivolts. Whereas your unpredictable, chaotic, less focused energy is 0.09 millivolts. So I'm going to encourage you today to use the 3 steps that I'm going to give you. And those 3 steps work in tandem. They kind of get all in sync together, like your laser emotions. They work together, these 3 steps. I'm going to give you 3 steps and encourage you to use those to zap the negative beliefs that get in the way of you having that clarity for what you want. Because remember, when you're clearly focused on that what you want, your energy waves can get in sync like a laser, and they are powerful. So use the power of that clarity. But first, you have to zap those negative beliefs. So recently, a friend of mine, just to give you an example, a friend of mine shared with me that she didn't get a job that she wanted. She thought she was all lined up to get that job. She thought everything was in place and that job was going to come through, and it was such a good fit for her, that job, perfect fit for her. So she was so disappointed when that job did not come through as she had planned. So that was not only a disappointment, but she shared with me that she had a lot of negative beliefs going on at the same time. So not only was she disappointed about that, but she felt like, that's just my due. I'm really not deserving of such a good job as that. That's such an easy, wonderful fit for me. She had that strong belief that somehow she would be cheating life if she got a job that was easy, and she easily got the job and it was a good fit for her, that life, she wasn't deserving of that kind of ease in life. So that was a negative belief of hers. So the 3 steps that I want you to use in order to zap negative beliefs is 1, and know that all these 3 steps are going to work together. So they're really not isolated in 1, 2, and 3. You're going to do all 3 of them. So 1, you're going to allow yourself some quiet time with yourself. Calm your body, calm your mind. Use whatever method works for you on that, whether that's quieting yourself with some music, whether that's doing a little bit of journaling, whether that's maybe doing some yoga or some meditation or paying attention to your breathing. Whatever calms your body and calms your mind. Now, you're going to bring to mind step 2, you're going to bring to mind that negative belief, because remember, it's kind of interfering with you being able to set forth multiple waves of calm, smooth, even, clear waves of desire for that which you want, that is going to connect you when you're in that good synced up space. So you want to really identify what is the negative belief that's getting in your way. And the 3rd step is when you really are honest with yourself about that negative belief and you're able to zap it, you will notice that automatically your energy waves get in calm, lighter, freer, more focused wave pattern. You'll feel that inside of yourself. It will be very easy for you to be clear about that which you really want. And it will be easy for you to access your inner wisdom to know what is the next step for you to take to get what you want. But first, you have to zap the negative beliefs that don't work for you. So my friend who had the negative belief about not deserving, when we were talking it through, it was kind of jumbled and mixed up in there. What was that belief about? Well, when you use these 3 steps and you've calmed your mind and calmed your body, and I took her through this, and it was really delightful to see the change and the transition. She really accessed some inner wisdom. So at first, she played with this thought that she is not deserving of a good life because that would be cheating life. That other people had it hard, and so therefore she should have life hard. There is no deserving for her to have life any easier than other people. So that resonated with her. And when she dug a little bit deeper in that quiet time, she also had a memory that this belief strongly came from her father, and her father had worked in a job that he didn't like. And life was hard and life was a struggle. And there was a belief that ran around the family that that is what you do in life. That is what life is and life should be, which is that you work hard to make it work. And you are no more deserving than anybody else of having it easy. Well, there is some truth to that you are no more deserving of anybody else. And my friend realized there is truth to that. There is no more deserving of her that she had to have life easy than anybody else. What wasn't true about that, and what she could let go of about that, was that life had to be tough and that she had to suffer because she saw other people suffering. And that was a belief that happened in her family. Well, the truth is, when she got calm and quiet, she didn't have to suffer, and she knew she didn't have to suffer. She could use her energy for getting the kind of job that made her happy, for getting a job with ease, for having an abundant, easy life. And then she could choose what to do with that abundance. So she did not have to hang on to this belief that came about from her father. Her father was quite instrumental in implanting this belief in there. So that was not something she chose to hang on to. Once she became aware of it, she could choose to release that because it wasn't true for her. It was true for her father. He held on to that belief. That was important in his life, but it was not important for her life. And so she chose to release that old belief that really didn't fit for her, wasn't true for her, and allow herself to know that she had the power to attract that which she really wanted in her life, that made her life happy and easy, the kind of job that felt good to her. And that in that place of abundance, then she could choose to help people that she felt compassionate for, that were less, that had less in their lives, that maybe were suffering and struggling. That could be a way in which she could honor her father. So she had lots of options in that. Once she decided to release this old belief that she wasn't deserving. Now, I had a similar belief that came about from, many, many times of interacting with my mother. So whenever I wanted something good in life, I wanted to go out, this is young when I'm living at home and growing up, and whenever I wanted to go out with friends or whether I wanted to join a new activity, so whatever it was that I wanted and I spoke to my mother about, she had this way of the way she said things, which made me feel inside in which I felt like I was selfish, being selfish for asking for that. And so good things in life, I could resonate a little bit with my friend who felt she wasn't deserving because I had a little different belief about when things don't go my way. Well, you're just being selfish to want everything to go your way. So that is a negative belief that isn't true. And as I got quiet, and again, these 3 steps of getting quiet, really identifying what is that negative belief, and allowing your inner wisdom to come through to release that negative belief. My inner wisdom came through in remembering my mother's history. My mother grew up where she had a sister that had some mental illness. The sister was older than her, and she had a younger brother. And her mother always made her stay home and take care of her siblings. So she couldn't go out with her friends. She desperately wanted to go to school and she couldn't go to college. And so there were just many things that felt like she couldn't do and she was denied. And her mother labeled her selfish for wanting to do those things that were pretty natural as a young woman, wanting to go out and be with friends. So that message that my mother had was a strong message within her, and she rather just automatically kind of passed it on to me. So it's in the questioning of that. It's in the honesty. Is that true for me? Well, it really isn't true for me. I am not a selfish person, all the time. Do I have my selfish moments? Yes. Am I a selfish person by nature? No. I can release that. That is not a truth for me. So when you come to truth that's truth for you, you will be able to release the negative beliefs because you're honest with yourself. And in that honesty, both comes your wisdom and it comes freedom to vision that which you really want for yourself. So use these 3 steps every day when things don't go quite the way you want them to go. And let them work in tandem with one another. Let them work in sync with one another. Use the laser power of your emotions, of being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself is an emotion. And that too can get in sync, the waves that can get in sync together. So use that. Get calm, quiet time, calm your body, calm your mind. Bring the negative belief to the forefront for you. Spend some time with that negative belief. And be honest with yourself about it. Own the parts of it that are true. I own sometimes I am selfish and I don't really think about others. And then I have to back up and backtrack and go, oh, okay, I wish I would have slowed down, thought about others during that moment. But by nature, am I a selfish person? No. My friend who said I'm not deserving to have good things in life, well, that deserving is just a belief. It's a belief that came from her father. None of us are more or less deserving in life. We all kind of work our power and work our way to figure out how to get along in life and get what we desire. But none of us are more or less deserving in life. That's just a belief. It's a construct. And so she could own, I'm not less deserving or more deserving than anybody else. She could release that. And then in that release is the freedom to really have clarity for really what you do want for yourself. And in that clarity also comes access to your inner wisdom. Your energy waves can get in sync. They're communicating within you. They're communicating without you and outside of you. And you can get in sync with your inner wisdom. So here is to using your power to zap the negative beliefs and really get in touch with that which you want and to use that inner wise self to get there. So thank you for joining me today. And I want to offer to you something very wonderful. We have a moment where we get to listen to Unity leader Wendy Craig Purcell. And Wendy is going to help us understand the power of getting calm and quiet, of our energy waves getting in sync, and accessing our inner wisdom. So I want to say thank you, Wendy, for joining us today and sharing your time and your expertise and your wisdom with us today.
My pleasure, Melanie. Very happy to be with you and with your listeners.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, there's a lot of verbiage around about what is intuition or what is that still small voice or that wise guidance that we all have access to. So when you teach about that, what's your definition of it? What is it that you have in your mind when you say, what is that intuitive self?
Right. So over the years, what I've come to appreciate about trying to describe that is you have to have several different ways to speak to it to reach different people because different people understand that in different ways. Mm-hmm. And so some of the ways I describe it, Melanie, are our inner knowing has a sense of rightness about it, a rightness that doesn't necessarily follow logic, but there's a sense of rightness to it. There's a sense of clarity. There's a sense sometimes of excitement and possibility. I also sometimes will say that it's almost like the experience. If you've ever put together a very complicated puzzle with, say, 1,000 pieces, and you're the one to put that last piece in, it feels like, yes, yes. And sometimes you don't know until you've had practice testing, is that really my intuition? And the only way I've found that we can know for sure is to follow it when we think it might be, and then see what the results are.
Well, that is such good advice, and I can resonate, and I think our listeners resonate with everything that you
Yeah.
said, which is that the feeling of clarity and the feeling almost also of eagerness and excitement when you just know something inside, you just know it.
Mhm.
Um, it seems to me also there's a feeling of hopefulness in there because when you just know it and you're like, that's what's right for me, it feels very hopeful.
It does.
Yes, and I am appreciative and remembering teachings of yours that I have listened to, and you have really encouraged people to access that inner wisdom through calm. And you've also mentioned the word coherence in your
Yeah.
teachings. Um, Now, I can understand the word calm, and I know our viewers can understand the word calm, but I am going to ask you to for some strategies that you recommend for
Mhm.
calming your mind and body. But I also want you, if you would be willing, to maybe help our viewers understand this word coherence, because in my mind, that sounds very similar to our energy waves of our emotion just getting in sync with one another, moving along together, smoothly together. And scientists, physicists say coherence is that also. But I'm curious how calm and coherence work for getting in touch with inner wisdom.
Well, I think that first of all, I love your use of the word sync. When we think of some of the computer programs that we use, we want the data on our phone to sync with the data on our computer. We want it to be the same, and so
Mm-hmm.
my mind goes to that idea of syncing,
Mm-hmm.
and so I like that use of the to describe the phenomenon, just like
Mm-hmm.
coherence. There is a fluidity, there is a flow that comes when we are in a state of coherence. I have
Mm-hmm.
practiced over the years some of the techniques from the Institute of the Heart Math, and that's where I have my familiarity with the idea of coherence.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the way that we can achieve that, the way that I try to achieve that, is through mindful breathing, which I can do with my eyes open or my eyes closed. I
Mm-hmm.
call it my portable practice,
I
where
like
I
that.
have no excuse. It's like I can't say, well, I don't have my meditation chair or my meditation mat or my Tibetan bowls, or I mean, I use all of those things, but it is my portable practice, meaning if I catch myself in a state of not calm, in a state of fear or anger or frustration,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's in my car because of traffic or picking once again the longest, slowest line in Costco, I can use that moment to say, wait a minute, I'm not in coherence. I can feel it in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I sense the chatter in my mind. Let me bring my attention to my breathing. Let me deliberately focus, not with rigidity, but with calm focus on the in breath, on the out breath, and continue to do that. And as I do, then dropping my attention to the area of my heart, imagining that those breaths are moving in and through my heart space, and then choosing to practice at will, at volition, holding a healing emotion or a healing word, an uplifting word. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that will put me in a state of coherence very, very quickly.
How long does that take? You say quickly how long does it take for you? And you're well practiced, I know, because you've
Right.
been teaching this for
Right.
a while and you're well practiced. But so for somebody that's well practiced versus somebody that's new at this, how long might that take?
I think the key, first of all, is the willingness to practice consistently. And
Mm.
so I look at it as there are two kinds of practice. There's the practice that we do when we're in our meditation chair or on our yoga mat, or the deliberate practice where we say, okay, this is the time of day. I'm going to spend 5 or 10 minutes. I don't think
Mhm.
it has to be longer than that.
Mhm.
I'm going to spend 5 or 10 minutes to practice mindful breathing, to imagine the area of my heart and imagining my breath moving in and through that area. So there's the formal focus practice
Mhm.
that builds our coherence or sync muscles, if you will, so that then when we're in our car and it's rush hour traffic that doesn't move anywhere, or we're in that line in Costco, we have built some practice. It's almost like there is a spiritual muscle memory that we've developed in the formal time or the structured scheduled time of practice that then makes it much easier for us to shift into that on an as needed basis.
So you can then use that during an immediate quick challenge, or you could use that for a longer term goal in which you're needing like some guidance on what are the best decisions and steps for you to take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is why in my teaching, I emphasize it is so important to be consistent in the practice. And what I have seen, and I'm in my 41st year of spiritual teaching and ministry, what I have seen is the tendency to go gung-ho and get started with a new practice and a new routine, and then to kind of slip away, or to practice for a while and things start to get better and easier, and then we drop the practice, forgetting that it was the practice that helped us achieve that inner calm that allows us to access that inner wisdom, that inner knower, that intuition. And so it's the consistency.
Wonderful. So thank you, Wendy, so much for your time today and sharing your words of wisdom. And we seem to be in coherence together, in sync together on the importance of really having calm, quiet time and getting in touch with that intuitive, wise self within.
Thank you so much, Melanie. A pleasure to be with you and with your listeners.
That's all for today's Wavemaker podcast. Thank you for listening. I have so much more to share with you, so be sure to tune in next month. And remember, go to my website, www.melaniedean.com, and join our free Wavemaker community, where you will receive even more science-backed advice for unlocking your emotional power.